Welcome back to Project Freelance. What is up? It is episode 99. Yep, we're almost to episode 100. I'm so excited. Thank you for listening to Project Freelance every single Monday. I truly appreciate you guys. I hope this is helping you get through your Monday workday. You know, I know that the commute can be long, the days can be hard, the work can be meh, but with Project Freelance, I hope you're getting through your day. I hope you are. If you guys do like the podcast, can you do me a favor? I'm trying to get 100 pieces of feedback by the end of 2020. We're at 46 right now, so I think we can get 54 people to leave feedback on the podcast. Just go to Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast app you're using, and if there's an option to leave feedback and rate the podcast, please do so. It helps me a lot, and it helps us reach more people, and that's the goal here. We want to help as many people out there as possible, and with your help, I think the podcast will help a lot of people. Thank you guys again for listening to Project Freelance. My name is Kay Anagonio. If you are new to the podcast, hit that subscribe button. You know you want to get my voice every week. Yes, you do. It's a good time here on Project Freelance. Each week, I bring on guests to talk to you about how they built their freelance career, how they built their business, the pitfalls they've faced, all kinds of stuff, guys. Tips, tricks, and more. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's get into this episode. This is Jay Claus. He is a photographer. He's known for his sunset photography, but he's trying to get away from just doing sunsets. He's trying to broaden his horizons more, if you will. Oh my gosh, so many puns. So I actually met Jay at a Mega Meet photography photo meetup. If you don't know what they are, well, we're going to talk about it a little bit in this episode. But basically, there are different collectives around Los Angeles that have Instagram accounts, and they post these flyers with the date, the time, and the location. And you show up, and there are models there, there are cars there are people breathing fire, smoke grenades, all kinds of stuff. And it is your chance to photograph all these different types of people and come together as a community and build relationships and make connections. So I was at this mega meet in my Spider-Man suit. I cosplay as Spider-Man when I go to these photo meets. It's super fun. And I saw Jay there and I thought, hey, this guy kind of looks like he's new and hasn't really been to one of these. He kind of looks a little bit, uneasy. He looked a little uneasy. And I was like, I'm going to introduce myself. So I did, and he ended up being such a cool guy, and so I wanted him to be on my podcast, and we've been trying to coordinate this for a couple weeks now, but we finally made it happen, and I'm so very excited for you guys to hear this episode of Project Freelance. Now, Jay is just starting out on he wants to go full-time as a content creator, but he's not quite there yet, but in this episode, we talk about where he started, where he wants to go, the things he's working on, and how he gets in touch with his clients, and so on and so on and so on. So let's jump into this episode. Jay, please introduce yourself and what it is you do to the audience.
My name is Jay Claus, and I am a photographer and videographer. So that is what I'm doing.
So let's talk about how you got into these creative endeavors.
Never considered myself a creator or a creative person. But about 3.5 years ago, I was kind of really sitting and trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. I've had a lot of jobs working for other people, doing everything under the sun, and none of that was ever good. I was never passionate about it. So I was like, what do I want to do? I don't want to just collect a paycheck. What do I want to actually do? So what happened was I just kind of made a list, things I enjoy, things I like doing, even if it was like something I thought was stupid. And one of those things was I always like to take photos with my phone. I like to record video of just about everything. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I could do something with that. And that's kind of how it launched.
So from there, once you figured out what you wanted to do, where did you go from there? Like, did you immediately have jobs, or did you have to find that stuff?
No, I needed to basically teach myself how to do all of it, because it's like anybody can take a video with their phone, but it's what do you do with that video? And I didn't really know what what to do with it. So I did what a lot of creators do, and self-taught through mostly YouTube, and then some online tutorial type stuff. I bought a cheap camera and then just started shooting and figuring it out a little bit as I went.
And who are you watching on YouTube? We have a lot of creators that come on this podcast that went to YouTube University like you did. And so I'm always curious to hear the kind of content you were watching whenever you were first starting out to kind of get your feet wet with it.
So at first I kind of was a shotgun approach. I was just trying to like figure out what it was that, I really wanted to do. I'm still kind of in that space right now, but I thought, I want to start a YouTube channel. Maybe I can do that. So I was watching some creators, basically learning how to start a YouTube channel and how to, do that, post and engage and tag and all that stuff. And then in addition to that, learning how to take photos, learning how to actually shoot video and make films. Probably my biggest inspiration and person I learned from, especially from like the beginning, and it's probably going to be very similar for a lot of people, but Peter McKinnon, that guy's insane. So you laugh, but is that because
I laugh because that's everybody's answer, and I love it.
Man, it's just, well, it's like him and Casey Neistat. Like Casey Neistat's like that, like just that raw, real filmmaker. So I watched a ton of his stuff and learned a lot from his many documentaries and his daily vlogs. And then couple that with just the epic cinematic stuff from Peter McKinnon. And I really started to, I guess, develop my style based off of mainly those two creators. And then, I watch a lot of different things, but I would say those are the ones that definitely, I guess, influenced me the most.
So it's super interesting that you say Casey and Peter, because both of them are actually completely self-taught. So it's like you're not even learning from a person that went to film school or has a degree in film production. Right. You're just learning from these other guys that taught themselves. And I think that's so fascinating. Like, I wonder if Peter and Casey ever thought that they would become like instructors. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, they probably didn't really have that thought for most of their career, I guess. But YouTube changes that.
Yeah, YouTube tends to make coaches out of everybody. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody loves watching tutorials, and the vlogs are cool, but yeah, you got to learn how to do this stuff too. So
exactly. So what were some of the first things that you photographed or filmed when you were first learning how to do this kind of stuff?
So I started with video first. I would always take photos, but it was always like auto mode, and I never really was taking that seriously at first. I was like, okay, I really want to like learn how to make a film. My passion is documentaries. I like future goal for 2020 is to make at least 2 to 3 mini documentaries on creators and highlighting why do they create, and not just photographers or videographers, but artists in general. And that's like probably my biggest passion. But I started out just kind of vlogging. Like I was just filming everything and then putting together videos. Started a YouTube channel, which is terrible, so don't go to it. All the videos are still there. I haven't archived them, but yeah, they're. I quickly found out I did not want to do vlogging or like family oriented stuff. It was just a lot of work, and getting my family on camera, I just decided it was probably not best. So But that's how I started. I was filming everything. I'd go to my daughter's, birthday party and shoot that. We'd go to SeaWorld. I'd shoot that. I'd shoot our daily stuff. I was a stay-at-home dad for about 6 months when my first daughter was born, and I was just kind of vlogging my daddy daycare stuff. And learning how to use a camera. And yeah, I mean, the first probably, I don't know, a few months, maybe 6 months, I was just like doing auto everything just to kind of like learn the motions. And then I started to incorporate, changing settings and like actually dialing in the looks that I was going for. And then I went to an air show and met up with a buddy of mine, and he's an amazing photographer. His name is Corey Goforth, and met up with him, and he was taking photos of the air show, and he's like, you have a camera, why don't you like use it to take photos too? And I was like, well, I mean, I do sometimes, it's just always on auto. And then full moon January 2018, was the first day I used manual settings for photography. And that was with my buddy Corey. And that kind of set me off on a path for photography. And so that's kind of the quick background on that.
Yeah. So you started basically in your house, like a lot of people can, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know where to go or where to start, but you can literally just start filming around your house just to figure out your settings. And I think it's super important that you utilize that space, When did you start getting, like, when was your first paid job? Like, what was it?
I created a kind of like a promotional video for a friend of mine. He is a saxophone player, piano player, and band guy, and he does weddings and corporate events and stuff like that. And he wanted to put together some promotional material for his business so that he could, show it to potential clients, and kind of give them an idea of like, what he has to offer. So he asked me to help him out with that. And then we created that, and I've actually been working with him now for a little while. Anytime he needs video done, he will call me and we'll get it done. So that was kind of like my first paid gig, I guess. And then it's just kind of been like random because I've been working full time. And then about 6 weeks ago, I was about to leave my job from full time and go full time into my business, but my old company called me and wanted me to come back part time, and I thought, oh, this is perfect. It'll kind of help with the transition, get some like guaranteed income instead of like fully going out into the wild. So I've been back there part time a few days a week for the last I guess 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. And it's kind of a struggle right now because I don't have enough time to do everything I want to do, but I have more time than I had before. So I'm like, it's just kind of a matter of time till I have to say, all right, let's do this 100%. I have a lot of potential stuff coming up. Some of it I have to say no, and other times I fit it in my schedule. So
when it comes to trying to like figure out your scheduling and everything, what do you look at? Like, what do you look at as far as scheduling wise? Like are you, for example, are you working full time during or part time during the week and then freelancing on the weekends? Like, what's your schedule like?
So I work. I guess my normal schedule is Tuesday through Thursday at the day job. But that's flexible. So if I have something that I need to do on a Tuesday or whatever, like my buddy Tyler, the musician, he worked a fashion show up in Malibu, and that was on a day that I normally would work. So I just swapped it and went up there and shot film for him. And then, but yeah, usually I'll just schedule things for Monday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I try to like avoid my weekend as much as I can, because that's the only time I have with my family. But I'm building a business, so it's kind of trying to balance those two things. I can't not schedule on the weekend, but I also don't want to schedule every Saturday and Sunday. So it's kind of a balance.
Yeah, you've got kind of a unique perspective because you've got a little one and you've got this family that you're also trying to build, so you're trying to build basically two jobs at the same time while having a part-time job as well. Have you been able to balance all of this, like mentally? Like, are you able to balance this, or is it stressful?
It's very stressful. I think the biggest thing, for me, especially because I can kind of like get distracted and kind of bounce around to different things if I don't have a plan. So what I do is I like to strategize. I plan out my week. So I have, specific times on the days that I'm supposed to be working my business. On Monday, it's like, okay, I've got to like enter some of these like, some of these expenses that I had. I need to do that. And then between 10 and 2, like I'm just going to be editing this one project. And then, I have to structure. If I don't structure, I will get nothing done. Like working from home is it's tough. It has challenges. And I'm sure it's like you could easily just like, oh, let me just get on YouTube real quick. And then like 2 hours later, you're like, wow.
Yep.
I may have learned something, I may not have, but I didn't get any work done. So it's having those boundaries in the structure, I think, is really, really beneficial. But yeah, it's stressful as heck. It's like, it's crazy. It all rests on you,
Yeah, you're your own boss and you have the full responsibility and weight of the entire company on your shoulders, because if you don't work, you're not going to make any money, basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't get paid to watch YouTube. So unfortunately.
Right. Unfortunately, I wish we could all. YouTube is like my background noise now, like it's just kind of it's just kind of there, I'm not really watching it, but it's just kind of there so that I'm not so lonely, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about some more gigs that you've done. So tell me, after you did this video for Saxophone Player, what happened next?
I have done some videos for my old company. I'm actually working on one right now for their website. They moved into a new building and they wanted to kind of showcase their building and all the capabilities they have. So I went and shot a whole bunch of that, and I'm currently working on that edit, and that one is going to be live on their website here probably in the next couple of weeks. And a couple like small delis that I just kind of put a little bit of promotional content together. And then a lot of photography. I have a lot of random things like family portraits. People want to do family portraits, and that's like literally the last thing I want to do. But it's like, yeah, all right. I mean, I can do it. So, yeah, I mean, it's money and it'll help you out. And of course, like they're friends or whatever. So it's like I'm giving them a deal. So I'm not really making a whole lot of money, but it's good. It challenges me. So I've been doing a lot of those type of like little mini shoots. And then right now it's kind of really just like I just need a little bit more time. I've got several things kind of waiting in the wings. And I'd really like to be able to get those accomplished. So,
yeah, definitely. So when it comes to like these delis and these local businesses, how are you approaching them? How are you finding them? And how are you basically pitching yourself to them?
For one of them, it was a friend of a friend of a friend. So it was kind of like, and they were like revamping their delis. So it was kind of like, this is a good time for you to kind of like put some content out, a little mini commercial, show people, hey, things are new here and come check it out. So, and then just basically, I mean, cold calling, like walking in and talking to a manager or the owner, preferably. And and saying like, hey, like, I mean, the future is video. You know, you could post on Instagram, you could post photos all day, and that's cool. But what really engages people now in 2019, going into 2020, is video. Like everything is about video right now, and you know, I don't think that people really understand, like business owners really like fully understand like the power that video has for their business, and for, I mean, literally it could be any business. Um, and so that's kind of like, I just kind of try to show them the value of what that video can accomplish. And right now I'm brand new, so I'm not like charging a whole bunch of money. You know, it's not a huge investment for them. So I think it makes it a little bit easier to make that decision.
I read a statistic somewhere that said 90 to 95% of the content that will be consumed in 2020 will be video content. So for anybody out there listening that may have a business, or maybe you're just an individual and you're trying to figure out how to promote yourself, video is going to be most likely the way to go here in the next year. So
Yep.
I would highly recommend you guys focus highly on your video content. So let's talk about social media. How has social media helped you grow as an artist and as a freelancer?
So on my Instagram, which is basically my main social media, Facebook really doesn't do a whole lot for me. But I also don't really like, I don't know, utilize it to its full potential. But I mean, for me, Facebook has been kind of like useless, and I hardly ever go on it. But Instagram is, I mean, the engagement, and it's another job. I mean, you know, it's like, I really feel like I have like 4 jobs, because Instagram is a part-time job too. And I think that there are a lot of creators that don't see it that way, and they have a business and they just post something, but then they don't engage, and they're not really like thinking through on their hashtags and the time they're posting and all this stuff. And I've been doing that since day one. I started this Instagram account on December 20th of last year, so almost a year. And I put a lot of focus into like what I do on my Instagram. It's not, there's hardly any random stuff. The only thing that kind of like has hurt me a little bit is the fact that I haven't really showcased video very much on my Instagram. Most of what I started off with landscape photography on my Instagram, and most of it's like seascape, sunset related photography, which the people that are following me really, really love. But when I post something that is not related to a sunset, or, you know, wave crashing, or the Huntington Beach Pier, or whatever, it gets way less engagement. And it's just because, like, I think people are like, oh, well, that's weird. Like, you know, you're the sunset guy. So 2020 is another goal for me this next year is to start to diversify. And then I also have another account, another handle that I might be like pushing my other content on, and then trying to promote that, cross promotion. So just trying to figure that out. But yeah, social media has been very beneficial, because, you know, people find you on social media, and if you're engaging, people want to work with you. And, you know, it's like I've got most of my photography type stuff, my photography type work, through my Instagram. You know, someone will DM me like, hey, like, do you do this kind of photography? Like, do you do bookings? And, you know, I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, you know, of course they don't read the subject line of my caption that says, hey, like, contact me for, you know, for actual bookings, go to my website, whatever. Like, people pass right by that, they DM me, and that's fine. And yeah, so I'll say, yeah, for sure. Like, let's schedule something. And then I think word of mouth, you know, people like, oh, like he did my, you know, family portraits, and, you know, then I get like someone I don't even know. They're like, oh yeah, so-and-so did her family portraits. I want to do the same thing. So it's like, it's just, I guess, lead generation and networking and engaging. That's been really helpful.
Yeah, I think Instagram is huge, and like whether or not you believe in the algorithm or whatever, I think yeah, you kind of niched yourself as the sunset guy a little bit, like
Right.
that's kind of your thing. So I totally understand your frustration when you're trying to post different content and it doesn't get as much engagement. It's a very normal problem that people are facing.
Yeah.
But I think having another account will probably help you a lot with that, where you can post your video content and other things like that. I think that's a great idea. So have you ever been screwed over? Have you been screwed over yet?
No, I don't think I have been screwed over yet. I've been frustrated. And I think sometimes it has to do with me and I guess my lack of preparation or questionnaire or whatever in the beginning of a project. I don't ask all the questions I should ask, so I don't fully know exactly what they expect. And then, it comes time to shoot. They're like, "Oh, well, aren't you going to do that?" I'm like, "Well, no, I wasn't planning on it, but I guess we could do that." But then it's like, now how do I go about? Do I change the contract? Do I add, onto it? Because now we're going to a second location and we didn't talk about that. But it's kind of like, oh well, I guess that's my bad because I didn't specify. I thought you just wanted to shoot in this one spot, and then we end up going to another spot that's not right next to it, and I guess that's my bad. So, but yeah, I don't think I've been screwed over yet. I'm sure it will happen at some point.
Unfortunately, I think it has to happen to all of us at least one time.
Yeah. That's all part of it, I guess.
Yep. Unfortunately. So let's talk about the photography meet that we met at. What was your experience like going to your first photography meet?
That was it was rad. It was totally different. At that point, I wasn't like shooting. It was mainly landscape, some lifestyle, city photography, stuff like that. And that was kind of like my first introduction, like real introduction to like modeling, and fire breathing and smoke grenades and all that. It was a wild experience, but it was rad. I loved it. I felt like like in the movies, it's like there's like that underground street party that like happens like in like a warehouse or something, and
yep,
like that was like the feel for me. I was like, wow, this is like super cool. Like, when are the like Fast and Furious cars going to show up and like race down the Santa Ana riverbed or whatever? Like, I was just like, it was rad.
You understand it fully. When people ask me like, "Whoa, what are these photography meetups?" Like, I literally tell them, "Have you seen Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift when they like meet up in the middle of the night and they just start doing crazy shit?" It's basically that. They text you the location, they post the location, the time, and the date on Instagram, and then you show up. That's it.
Yeah. It was so crazy. It was like, and yeah. So I mean, you were there. You were the first person that kind of took me in under your wing and everything, and like you probably looked over and you're like, dude, this guy is like, yeah, like I'm just standing there like, I don't know what I'm doing. And
I said, he looks new.
yeah, exactly. And no, I really appreciate that because it kind of like broke the ice, and I probably wouldn't have ended up talking to anybody had you not introduced yourself. So yeah, it was a little intimidating.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to first just like you dove into the deep end. You went to a huge meet. Like, they're usually not that big. Like, you went to one of the bigger meets, so
Yeah.
I can understand why you were a little overwhelmed with that. There's just so much to do, and like it was such a crazy location. So for the listeners, we were in a riverbed in one of the like LA riverbeds, and we had like police helicopters show up. We had some dude show up on a horse. Like it was
Yeah.
hilarious. It was hilarious and
On,
crazy.
on a horse carrying a big can of beer, like with
Yeah.
cowboy outfit on,
Gear
everything.
on. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
it was crazy.
It
That
was
was
absolutely insane.
yeah, no, so yeah, I like really appreciated the fact that you like kind of introduced me to it, and then I was able to kind of actually get some content from it and learn. Yeah, it was like a kid in a candy store, It's just like, oh my gosh, I got to shoot over here. Oh, I got to shoot over here. It's like 10 different things happening at the same time, and I want to make sure I'm not going to miss the fire breathers and smoke grenades. So yeah, it was crazy.
And how did you hear about it? Like, how did you hear about the photo meet?
My buddy Nelson, he's mainly a portrait photographer, and he had been to them, or the last one or the last couple, and he knew that I was starting to shoot like more portraits and stuff like that. And he's like, man, you gotta go to this meetup. You'll meet a lot of rad people, and you'll definitely learn a lot in a short period of time. So you should check it out. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So it was kind of a drive for me, living down here in Orange County, but it was well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time you want to go, we can just carpool because we live pretty close to each other.
Yeah, that's crazy too.
Yeah. So why sunsets? Let me just go back to the sunset stuff. What is it about sunsets that you like photographing?
What isn't it? To me, a sunset just represents like beauty in this world. Like to me, I think it's like the most beautiful thing in nature. Every single sunset is like a fingerprint. It's different. It could look similar at times, but it's still different. The clouds are different orientation. The color is slightly different. The mixture, all that stuff. And I mean, I've been shooting sunsets, just with my phone, flip phone back in the day or whatever, like forever. And I will always look at a sunset. If I'm out, I'm always, and it's crazy to me, like my mother-in-law, she told me like a couple weeks ago, she's like, I'm so glad that you take photos of the sunset, because a lot of people, don't even see them. They don't even look for them or notice them. And I'm like, how is that possible? Like sunsets they're just insane to me. Like there's so many things in nature that are crazy, and I think that is like the top of the top. And yeah, I don't understand how anybody like just goes home on their commute and doesn't look up at the sky.
I think a lot of people forget to look up. People that work in the city, they never look up. They don't even see like the beautiful architecture around them, and that blows my mind. I love architectural photography and like cityscapes and things like that. And like the fact that people are so busy looking down at their phone, and they're, too busy to look up for like 2 seconds and see what's around them. It's so insane to me. And yeah, I agree with you. Something about a sunset, it is almost like a fingerprint, like every one of them is different. It's absolutely fascinating.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. And so that's how I got started. It was like, it's just easy to shoot something that you absolutely love,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And do you print out your work?
I do now. In the beginning, I was shooting on like a beginner camera, and the prints look good in small sizes, but I wasn't like printing anything big because you could tell the graininess. But I upgraded, and now I feel confident printing, and I have people that contact me for prints. And yeah, definitely. I I think that's one of the best things is like having like your art on somebody's wall. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's one of the coolest feelings, you know, like I always ask people like, "Hey, can I just give you a print so you can put it on your on your wall?" Like,
Yeah,
I'll eat the price, you know. I'll eat the fee. I just want you to have it.
yeah, definitely, absolutely.
So as far as photography and video goes, aside from, you know, the people you learned from, who are some of your influences? Who are some of the people you follow on Instagram?
Um, so let's see. In terms of video, something I'm kind of like really into right now is some of these really cool like B-roll crazy transition videos that like Daniel Schiffer does.
He's so good, dude.
It's nuts and all
It's
handheld,
it's
no
crazy.
gimbal, and I'm like, bro, like how man, like he must not drink coffee.
I was gonna say he probably doesn't drink any coffee.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, I don't even know how it's possible, but
His hands are
his
so steady. It's
yeah,
crazy.
his stuff is just like electric, and so I'll watch his videos like all day. It's just crazy, and that's kind of been one of my I guess most recent inspirations. And then for photography, gosh, there's so many. Um, let's see, who is my main inspiration for photography right now? I think that Mike Myers he's based out of Chicago. His stuff is amazing. He's kind of got a moody look to his photography, and I really like that. Anytime I post something that's like moody in that genre, it doesn't do as well. But because it's not like a super vibrant sunset. This one I literally posted the other day. I posted this wave crash, and to me, I was like, I literally waited in that spot for like 45 minutes for a surfer to walk into frame at the same time as a wave is crashing up on the berm, and it finally happened. And it was this like super rad older guy named Don, like Japanese guy, and like he literally walked into the frame. The wave came, crash, boom. It was beautiful. It was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be like one of my best photos ever. And I posted it up, and it was like, people are like, you can't. Where's the sunset, you know? And then yesterday I posted up a vibrant sunset, and it blew up, and it was just like, yep, that's that's how it works. Uh,
That's it.
but yeah, so Mike Myers he's just epic photographer. I think it's like M Myers 79 or something. It always cracks me up when people still have like random numbers.
Numbers in there.
It's like, come on, guys.
We're over. AOL died years ago. Get rid of the numbers in your username for
Yeah,
Christ's
and,
sake.
and that's the thing is his username is probably still his AOL email, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
100%.
oh my goodness, guys. But yeah, a lot of influence on Instagram.
What gear do you shoot on?
I carry two cameras all the time. I carry my first camera that I bought. It's a crop sensor. I love putting the long lens on it, and then I get 480 millimeter. It's a 300 millimeter lens, so I get a nice zoom. So I'll carry that. Plus, that camera and lens combination is just like, I don't know. It has like a classic feel. It's a little bit more grainy because it's lower quality. But some of my favorite shots are shot on that camera. And then I carry the 6D Mark II, and I've got the 16 to 35 Mark II, and then a nifty 50. And those are kind of like my three lenses and two cameras. They're always with me, and just depends on what I'm going to shoot. But I'll shoot with the 50 like all the time too. I just love that lens. $125.
Well, yeah, the Nifty 50, man. You can't go wrong with that guy.
Yeah, 1.8. F1.8 is like, amazing. It's pretty dang sharp. It's better than the 1.4, and it's $125. So yeah, I use that for a lot of like lifestyle. Pretty much always use that for lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a great lens. So, and are you carrying a certain backpack with all this gear in it, or are you just like got like a what are they called, like a chest rig with like clips, or like how are you transporting all your gear?
No, I always have my bag. My bag is kind of like my like purse, I guess. It goes everywhere. Like if I have my wallet and my cell phone, I have my backpack. Um, and it's a think tank. I got it at Sammy's camera, and it was kind of like I just needed to get a bag, and I needed it like that day, so I just went over there and I'm like, all right, let me just grab whatever. Um, and I've had this bag now for I don't know 6 months, and it's freaking amazing. I love it. It's hard shell. It packs pretty much everything I need except for like my gimbal, which obviously nothing really packs the gimbal.
Right.
Which yeah, the gimbals are super annoying. It's like,
Yep.
what do I do with this thing? You know, it's just like flopping around. I got to put
You
it
have
back
to
in the
like
case and like
you have to like bungee tie it down to your
yeah,
front of your bag or some craziness.
yeah. It's like that's probably the most annoying gear I have. But yeah, the think tank. I don't even know what it's called, what the model is or whatever. But Streetwalker Pro V2.0. So it's like yeah, it's big enough and it's not the huge one. And yeah, it's rad. I love it.
What is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started all of this?
Um, Take chances. Get creative. Don't shoot the same thing over and over again from the same angle. I think for the first 6 months I was shooting sunset landscapes. It was like I'm going to go to Ruby's and I'm going to shoot this, you know, same exact shot, same angle, everything. I may move like 15 feet back or something, but um, and that didn't allow me to get creative. It didn't teach me anything new. It was fun because here I'm shooting a sunset, but there wasn't like a return on that time, you know. And I think shooting is an investment. I think every time you go out and shoot, it's an investment in your future as a photographer or a videographer. And it's like, even when I'm doing a shoot that I've done before, it's like I always try to like, okay, well, what if I do it like this? What if I change that setting? Or what if I like just kind of like hide behind this wall and shoot the same thing? Like, what would that look like? And I'm always just trying to do that. So I would say for anybody starting out or even like intermediate that has never like broken out of their shell, I would say get creative and like just always think outside the box. Don't stand in the same place every other photographer's standing. You know, like I almost always will back up 100 feet and I'll shoot the sunset through the photographers. And that they've kind of like labeled me as the behind the scenes shooter because like I always want to shoot photographers shooting photos. And that was just one day I was like, you know what? Like, what if I like everyone's always trying to avoid getting people in their photo. I'm like, why don't I purposely get people in my photo? And that's really worked for me. So yeah. And it's not about the gear. You know, earlier you had mentioned like, hey, like, you know, just shoot in your home. Like, just start shooting. A lot of people are worried, you know, and you see this on YouTube all the time. They always say like, oh, like, don't worry about the gear. And it's like part of you is like, oh, okay. And then the other part of you is like, yeah, whatever. Like, I really want a nice camera. But you're never going to know how to shoot video or photos until you do it. Don't shoot auto. Just force yourself to go manual. I wasted time shooting on auto. And yeah, carry your camera everywhere and shoot everything.
Everything, guys. Shoot everything. All right. So if people want to follow you on social media or if they want to hire you, where can they go?
My Instagram handle is Refujay, so it's like refugee, but ends with a Jay. And that is where you can find me on social media. Don't look for me on Facebook because I probably won't. I probably won't see you there. And I have a YouTube channel, but it's kind of under construction right now, so don't go there either. But my email, my internet, man, I can't talk all of a sudden. Like, wow. I need more coffee. My website is refujaymedia.com. That's kind of under construction too at the moment, but you can go there and see maybe a few photos that aren't up on Instagram, and I'll be adding some video content on there soon.
That was episode 99. Come back next week for episode 100. I am so excited. So next week's episode is going to be super special. I hope you guys like it. And I spent a lot of time on it, so I hope you enjoy it. I hope you listen to it all the way through. It's pretty long. It's like 2 hours long. So if you have to listen to it in segments and bursts, I totally understand. But episode 100 is coming next week, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear it. Thank you again for listening to Project Freelance. Hopefully we can get some sponsors for these next 100 episodes. We'll see what I can do. Thank you guys. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, leave a rating, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay strong, keep enduring, go out, and go create something.